I hooked up with a married Indian woman in my neighborhood. When I moved into my new neighborhood, I wasn't expecting to meet someone like her. She was in her mid-30s, married, and lived just down the street. I first met her and her husband briefly while walking my dog, and they seemed friendly enough. A few weeks later, they invited me to a neighborhood party, and that's when everything began. The night of the party, she looked absolutely stunning, wearing a beautiful traditional Indian outfit, something I hadn't seen before. It was clear that she took pride in her culture, and she carried herself with a quiet confidence that immediately caught my attention. There was a subtle elegance about her, the way she moved through the room, chatting with guests, and the way she glanced in my direction every so often. There was something unspoken between us, though I couldn't put my finger on it at the time. As the night went on, the conversations flowed, and so did the drinks. I found myself standing next to her in the backyard, talking with a small group of neighbors. Her husband was inside, entertaining others, so she had more freedom to chat and laugh without constantly being at his side. I complimented her on her outfit, and she smiled, telling me it was custom-made in India, crafted from silk. She clearly appreciated the attention, and I took that as a sign to move a bit closer, reaching out to feel the material of the scarf she had draped over her shoulder. It was a small gesture, but one charged with a certain electricity. I casually ran my hand along the scarf, letting it graze her back just below the fabric of her halter top. To the others around us, it was an innocent gesture, part of the conversation, but there was more behind it. She didn't pull away. In fact, she leaned in slightly as if inviting me to continue, under the guise of hearing another neighbor speak. That subtle exchange set the tone for what would follow. As the party wound down and guests started to leave, I lingered, helping to clean up a bit. When I finally made my way to the door, she and her husband were both saying their goodbyes to guests. Her husband shook my hand, thanking me for coming, but when I hugged her goodbye, there was a palpable tension. I held her just a bit tighter, longer than I probably should have, and she didn't resist. It was clear we both felt the same pull. A few days later, I knew her husband would be away on business, so I decided to stop by her place. I brought a small thank you gift for the party, an innocent enough reason to drop by. She opened the door in a casual house dress, another traditional outfit, and though it was modest, it was clear she wasn't wearing much underneath. There was an unspoken understanding between us from the moment I stepped inside. We sat and talked for a bit, the conversation flowing as smoothly as it had at the party. I complimented her again, this time on her house dress, using the same casual touch on her shoulder to test the waters. She didn't move away. In fact, her smile seemed to invite me closer. The air between us was thick with anticipation. As we sat on her couch, what had started as small gestures, innocent touches, glances, escalated into something more. There was no need for words. We both knew where things were heading. The tension that had been building since that night at the party finally broke, and we found ourselves crossing a line we both knew we shouldn't. It was as if we were both drawn into something bigger than ourselves, something thrilling, dangerous, and impossible to resist. From that day forward, things changed between us. Whenever her husband was away, she would find reasons to invite me over, whether it was for a quick coffee or a chat. It was always under the pretense of something innocent, but we both knew the real reason. It was the excitement of keeping the affair hidden, of indulging in something forbidden that neither of us could walk away from. The thrill wasn't just in the secrecy, it was in the connection we had, something that seemed to fill a void in both our lives. For her, it was clear that something was missing in her marriage, and I seemed to be the answer to that. For me, it was the excitement of the unknown, of diving into something that shouldn't be happening yet felt so natural. Our encounters became more frequent, each time more intense. The risk of being caught only heightened the desire, but, in the back of my mind, I always knew this couldn't last. There was no way we could keep up this secret forever. And though we continued to meet, there was always that lingering question. How long could we keep this going before someone found out?